What's up, nerds and gamers from all walks of life? Just in case you didn't know, my name's Justin, and welcome to my channel, Just In Case Gaming. Now, we filmed this video ahead of time, and it was supposed to be released already, but then Icewind Dale came out, but now we're getting it out to you. So, without further ado, today we are going to be reviewing the other Lord Elementals. We have the Water and the Earth Lord Elemental. Two creatures that are going to complete your Elemental Lord collection if you have the Fire and Wind already. Who will win, rock or water? Who will be victorious? Let's find out together, shall we? Come on! Alright gamers, here we are again back at the whiteboard, and we are taking a look at the rest of the Elemental Lords. We've already reviewed the Fire and Air Lord Elemental, so if you haven't seen those videos, check out my channel. There is a playlist and you can see that video, so go check that one out. But stick with me right here and we're going to take a look at the Water and Earth Lord Elementals. So let's go with the first one. Let's take a look at the first one, and this is the Earth Elemental Lord. 4445 out of the Kingmaker Pathfinder set. So this was one of the premium miniatures that came out of the Kingmaker Pathfinder set. There was this one and the Water Elemental Lord. And I really love this Earth Elemental. He is pretty big and he has a lot of great detail. So let's get right in there. You can see each individual rock is just molded perfectly. And you can see every single little detail that goes through the rock right there. And it has some great shading that really gives it that, that feeling of actual stone. And it even has, check out some of this like dirt that they've painted in there. I think the dirt could have been done much better. It kind of just, I mean, from a distance, it looks much better. But when you get kind of close up in there, the dirt detailing gets a little muddled. And it has some subtle dry brushing of green along the miniature itself that makes it look like moss. And I think that that really helps sell that this creature just came right out of the ground. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other leg here. And like I said, I mean, this really, the rocks do look like actual rocks. And I think that they really hit that, the nail on the head on that one. But it's just this brown, just the, I don't know if it's the color of brown that they utilized. Like I said, from a distance, looks fine. But when you get up in there, I mean, it kind of just looks like some kind of caramel or something. Without the light hitting it, but I mean, in person, it is a very light brown color. I really like the spinal area here along the back side. I like how each of the individual rocks comes up and actually makes it look like the musculature of a humanoid shape. Each rock is layered to where it is supposed to mimic actual musculature. And I think that's cool. I like these little rocks that actually looks like a spine coming down here. And you can see these green pieces that are jutting out from the miniature. And these are some kind of crystalline structures. They actually have a little bit of a sheen that is put onto them. It's a tad bit glittery. I don't know if you can really see they do reflect pretty well. And it's not, you know, a bright green or anything. It's this kind of duller toned green in person. With the light hitting it, it looks a lot better. So if you have some good lighting on your terrain, it's gonna pop just a little bit more. But I love each individual little divot that they put into the stone that really just helps sell that, that rock-like texture. and you can see all of the crystals that are coming out. It's primarily the crystals are just coming from the arms and this neck fold region here and up toward the shoulders. And they are in very random places, which, I mean, that makes total sense, seeing as how gems and geodes, they are normally found, you know, in random spots in the ground, but also a lot of crystals and stuff, they're found bunched together. So you have these little clusters of crystals embedded into the miniature itself. And that could possibly be some kind of plot hook that you DMs out there could use if you want to pick these up. Maybe these crystals are needed by a wizard in town. They need a certain type of crystal, and your players have to go and get it from the elemental lord of earth. Or maybe it's some kind of MacGuffin like that. I really like the hands as well. I think they did well with the hands. How you can see each rock layered on top to make it look like, you know, the knuckles and everything like that. The only other problem that I have is the paint job here, and it's again with that dirt. I think that they should have taken it throughout the entire mouth area right here. And maybe just use a different color of brown. I might redo the brown paint job on this miniature sometime. Let me know if that's something that you all would like to see. And I really like the moss detail there. All in all though, I think it is a fantastic earth elemental miniature, especially if you're looking for a huge sized earth elemental. I don't think that you can get a better one right now from WizKids. To my knowledge, these are the only huge size in this scale Earth Lord, Fire Lord, Water Lord, Air Lord Elemental miniatures that's out there. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to my favorite of this pairing, the Water Lord Elemental. This is a masterpiece. I love this miniature. Let's just get a good look at it overall real quick. And then we'll go into exactly what makes this one of my favorites. First off, take a look at the facial region. Very Cthulhu-esque. I like how the water is coming down from the face, making it look like tentacles. And then you have these 4 eyes right here that give it that that old ones type of feeling. Maybe this is something that was awoken that is older than anyone thinks. Maybe it does have Lovecraftian ties that you want to weave into your campaign. Maybe this is like an aspect of an old god or something like that. I love the tentacles, the water tentacles that are coming out, because you have all of these different holes, making it just look like the water is moving and flowing. And they have these mold lines that are built into the water that make it look as such, like it's flowing. And it's pretty bendy plastics. Not as bendy as some of the newer materials that WizKids has started to use, but it is bendy. These are not going to break on you. I like this water effect that's coming off of the face too. Just like this thing just came right out of a wave and is forming in front of you. Let's take a look at the back side here. You can see all of these little ripples that are going through it, and it almost kind of looks like, especially toward the top right here, kind of like a brain almost, like it's like veins or something like that. I think that's neat. But probably one of my favorite bits right here, if we can get the camera to pick it up, you all see these black bits that are inside. That's actually on the inside of the miniature itself. We'll take a look right here. These are people that are inside of the miniature. So you can see the shapes of humans or orcs or whatever, and weapons. That's a sword right there. It's not really picking up the best, but let's get it right there. And we'll flip it over here. And there you go. You can see these humanoid shapes with swords and bows and shields. And I can't, it just looks like some kind of smaller 2D element type of miniature that's in there. It's not a full-sized mini, from what I can tell. And of course, it's not really in the best scale. I mean, maybe these are halflings or goblins or something like that. But if you take a look at just like a humanoid shape, they're much smaller than a regular medium-sized mini. So whatever you want your plot hook to be right there, maybe it, the inside of this is a bigger void or something. But like I said, I love the tentacles here, and I like the wave effect that they have going on. And these plastics that they've used, it's not just a blue, it's more of a teal. It has some green elements that are going through it, almost like it's kind of dirtier water, but it's very clean, the miniature itself, very glossed over. And I like the dry brushing that they did on the edge of these waves right here. If you ever have a clear type of plastic that you're trying to paint, when you get the actual paint applied, which I typically, if it's hollow on the inside, I'll do the paint work on the inside, and then I'll go over water effects like this, dry brushing a white on it to make it look almost like a foam, which is what they've done here. It's like a sea foam that's coming off of there, really selling that water effect. So that's the Water Lord Elemental and the Earth Lord Elemental. Let's get some size comparisons real quick. So here is the Earth Elemental compared to the Fire Elemental Lord, and they fit very well in scale together. And then here is him compared to the Air Lord Elemental. I'll show it to you next to an Abominable Yeti from the Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden set. If you haven't seen my review on Icewind Dale, go ahead and check it out. I made a video where we unbox an entire case of that. And then let's compare him to a Frost Giant skeleton. So you can see the Frost Giant has a little bit of height on it. And of course, there it is next to a medium-sized human. And for her, Air Lord Elemental, Fire Lord Elemental. I like how they just kept with this, the see-through plastics for those three Elemental Lords. Frost Giant Skeleton. And there's the Abominable Yeti. And of course, the Human Hunter. And there is the Kingmaker Premium Miniatures Water and Earth Lord Elementals. Let's go ahead and check out these guys on a battle map, and let's get my final thoughts on these two awesome elementals. So as for my final thoughts with the Earth and Water Lord Elemental, I think these are great miniatures, especially if you're looking for really big, imposing elemental lords. This is definitely the way to go. They fit well in scale with all the miniatures, as you can see here. My only gripe and complaint is on the Earth Lord Elemental. I think those dirt details could have been handled a little bit better, but I think that these are fantastic pieces if you can find them. And especially if you're a DM, there's a lot of really great story hooks to go with these guys. I say, pick them up if you can find them, guys. They're well worth the money. Also, a heads up, the Icewind Dale campaign book is our next video. So gamers, that completes my review and take on the Pathfinder Kingmaker Premium Miniatures, the Water and Earth Lord Elementals. One elemental is sure to bring your players to a watery grave, and the other is sure to take a boulder and slam it down on them. Which one will you choose? I wanted to thank you all for joining me here today, and I also wanted to say, hey, if you're not subscribed to our channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you all in the community. I also wanted to say, if you're liking what we're putting out here on the channel, go ahead and drop a like. Thank you guys again for watching, and hey, stay safe out there, be nerdy, and I'll see you in the next video.